Good morning. Welcome to this morning's service. It is our Ohigan, autumn Ohigan service. Of course, we observe Ohigan twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. These services coincide with the spring and autumn autumnal equinox when the days and the nights are of equal length. They offer us opportunity to kind of enjoy something while the world is somewhat in balance, at least in terms of the days, the lengths of the days and our nights. We are always trying to find balance in our lives, and with so much going on in the world around us, it may feel as though it is an impossible task. And yet, we continue to observe uh, these rituals or practices that hopefully can bring some sense of settledness, something that is familiar, that has continuity over time. Again, today is our autumn Ohigan service. If you will please join us now in the reading of Sambujo, followed by the reading of Sambutsuge. Today, on this occasion of the autumn Mohegan service, the members of the San Jose Buddhist Church Bitswing have reverently come before Amida Buddha. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. 说不出红来的金金了，跟我来开，不要有可能谁送我们，你那西西金刚们了我来，吉金妙空妙音。 If you please join now in the reading of the Golden Chain. Please join Gasho. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, good morning. Welcome to this morning's Ohigan service. Ohigan is when we think about the teachings of the Buddha, to reflect upon our understanding of the teachings. Ohigan is a service that is unique to Japanese Buddhism. It's not found in other traditions, other parts of the world. And all of the forms of Buddhism in Japan, pretty much I think all of them practice or observe Ohigan. Ohigan, and the reason that probably most schools of Buddhism observe Ohigan, because the practice of, or the observance of Ohigan was fairly early in Japanese Buddhist history when it was started. So Buddhism comes from Korea into Japan in 6th, 7th century, and in the 8th century, Emperor Shomu set aside these 2 dates at the autumn and spring equinox as days to again think about and to consider how not just priests but how lay people also practiced, how they were kind of getting along in their practice of the Dharma. So it occurs fairly early in the 8th century. This again is Emperor Shomu who sets aside these 2 dates as a time to kind of think about. And so, everyday life for most people in Japan at that time was very difficult. I mean, it was a day-to-day. You had things that you needed to do. If you didn't get them done, you would either go hungry for the day or you wouldn't be able to have a shelter. But Emperor Shomu set aside these dates and these special services so that people could enjoy some time. And when the weather was pleasant and mild, today is a beautiful day here in the Bay Area. Not too cold, not so hot as it was just a week or 2 ago. And the air is now clear of much of the smoke that had fallen in our area also just a week ago. We're expecting high temperatures again, and as all things, everything continues to change. But today, here in the Bay Area, it's a day that we can truly look outside and enjoy. And to be able to reflect upon the things that are taking place in our lives, certainly the uncertainties and the aggravations and anxieties that we might have are a part of all of that. But in the midst of all of that, to think about how we are able to live our lives that our life is the result of not just what we do, or not just what I'm able to do with my own skills and abilities, but that um, the life that I am able to experience is the result of many others. Ohigan is the other shore, uh, and is to go from this shore, which is samsara, and to go to the other shore, which is Pure Land, and to become a Buddha. Higan is that other shore, and how we get there depends again on the tradition that we belong to. But in Buddhism, the six paramita uh, helps us to cultivate what is necessary to reach that other shore. Whether we think of that other shore as uh, getting to that other shore is to cross over space and through time, or if we think of Ohigan as a way of seeing the world differently from how we normally see the world, whether we think of it as um, someplace far away or really as a different way of seeing the world, it doesn't matter. That we get to that point in our lives uh, can make a difference in how we engage the world, how we think about it, and how we experience the world. There's so much uncertainty with the pandemic and with the calls for social justice, with the fires that continue to burn around us. There's so much uncertainty, but yet we are able to, in the midst of that, be able to kind of settle ourselves, to be clear in our thinking, to be able to uh, reflect upon uh, the life that we share with others and how our lives are the result of um, the lives that surround us. Going to the other shore is to cultivate a mind that begins to see things as they are, that can help us to better understand the world in which we live, which is not just about me or about the people around me, but the world in which we live, in all of its many facets and all of its uncertainties and frustrations, but also in all of the things that we think about that may support and provide us with the opportunity to live our lives that brings things that are of interest, of value into our lives. That these too exist, uh, not just the difficulties, but that they are experiences to be had that can deepen our appreciation for what we share with one another as human beings. Not just within the boundaries of our family or community, within our nation, but within the world in which we live. That in every corner of our humanity can be found experiences that affirm that humanity which we are all a part of. Today, Ohigan, we think of that other shore, mindful of that other shore to get to that other shore, a way of experiencing things as they are. And whether we practice the six paramita to cultivate the mind that takes us to that world, or whether we rely solely upon the assurance of Amida Buddha that provides for the enlightenment of all beings. How we think about what we experience and what we share with one another, what we appreciate, how we think about going to the other shore, what we need to do, how we need to change to go to the other shore. can influence the way that we appreciate the world around us. The life that continues to support, provide us with the opportunity to begin to see things as they are. Today, as we gather together, we're mindful of uh, the world around us, even in our isolated circumstances, we are still connected to the world around us. There is still much to be appreciated, much to be enjoyed. Thank you for being here this morning, joining us for this Ohigan service. If you would please join in Gassho and Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, thank you very much. Please remember to be safe, wear a mask um, as you interact with the world around us. Remember that even though our circumstances may continue to change, and Buddhism reminds us that everything is in a process of change. Although the circumstances may be quite different from what they were a year ago, we are still able to share with one another, to affirm the life that we are all a part of, and that we can discover in those relationships things that are important and meaningful in our lives. Again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for this morning's service. At this time, the Dharma School classes will start. Please join us for the 10:10 service, which we will convene at 10:10. We'll have our Ohigan service at 10:10. Our speaker for that service will be Mikame Sensei. So please, there's no farmer's market to go to, although maybe in your area there may be a farmer's market. No Roy's coffee shop, but please do have a cup of coffee if you would like to, and come back for our 10:10 service. Thank you very much, everyone.
pronunciation of the six parameters in Sanskrit? I'm not very confident. Prana, Sila, Shakti.
Shanti.
Shanti. No.
K is kind of silent, goes soft K. Shanti.
Shanti.
Vidya.
Virya. Dhyana.
Jhana.
Jhana. Shanti. Have you learned Sanskrit? So that's why you know how to pronounce it. Virya.
Vidya.
Jhana. Jhana.
Jhana.
And then Prajna. Thank you. Good. Okay. Hey, thank you.
そう。席を開けてありがとうございます。 You're too quiet. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's service. Today is our Ohigan service. It is autumnal uh, autumn Ohigan service. We have two of these, of course, every year in the spring and in the fall. And it coincides with the equinox of both seasons. Uh, this morning, it's good to have all of you joining us for this important service in our Jodo Shinshu tradition. If you please join us now in the reading of Sambajo, followed by the Hyobyakumon that states what we're about to observe. And then, following the reading of the Hyobyakumon, we'll read together Junidan. Today, on this occasion of the Autumn Mohican service, the members of the San Jose Buddhist Church Biswing reverently come before Ida Buddha with deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida. We reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance.
Okay, so please join me reading Three Treasures. So please join me in Gasho. Hard is it to be born into human life, nor you live in it. Difficult is it to hear the true teaching of the first one, nor hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absolve into ourselves the principle your way to enlightenment, awaken in ourselves a spring will. I take refuge in Dhamma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of their doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in the true accord in your way for me, in spirit of universal brotherhood, free from the bondage of selfishness. Even through the ages of myriads of kalpas, how hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine? Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's true teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone. So at the beginning of my Dhamma talk, so I'd like to share the Wasan written by our founder Shiran Shoni. So please join in Gasho again. The ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Mida's universal bow can we, who have long been drawing, unfailing, be brought across it. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Okay. So today is the Higan service. So Higan service are observed twice a year during the spring and autumn sorry, so it's difficult to pronounce for me. When days and nights are equal length. Higan is the week surrounding autumn equinox. Thank you. This year, the autumn equinox is September 22nd, and the Higan week is from 19th to 25th. It's a week of Higan. The equinox is a day that tends to cause us to reflect upon the nature of the day and night. It motivates us to think on the nature of day and night because as I said earlier, the equinox is one of the two times in the year when the daylight hours and nighttime hours are equal. So it is a day of perfect balance. In Japan, they have the expression, the hot days and the cold days are only until Higan. But I guess it's not recently. It is still hot after Higan, both in Japan and America. But still, today is not that bad. Most of the time, our lives are not like Higan and are filled with hot days and cold days. We become excited about this thing and that thing, or we become disappointed about this or that thing. We laugh, we cry, we accuse, we cheer, we shout, we do the right thing, we do the wrong thing. As long as we live our lives as human beings in this world, it is hard to find and keep the balance and keep the balance or keep our minds calm and still constantly. Our minds are always busy, so we sometimes feel a need for balance in our lives. We want our lives to be like Higan. How can we accomplish this? The answer goes probably like this. All you have to do is be like Higan itself. Become a Buddha. Higan literally means the other shore, the world of enlightenment, the Pure Land, the world of Buddha, free from sufferings. On the other hand, our world is called Shigan, literally means this shore and other shore. This shore, which is full of suffering. Therefore, Shigan refers to the Pure Land of perfect enlightenment, which exists far from this shore of samsara. The word Higan is a Chinese translation of the Sanskrit word paramita, which expressed the idea that Buddha guides people from this world, this ordinary world, to the other shore of Pure Land by mean of the six paramitas. In reading of Larger Sutra, we discovered that the Bodhisattva Dhammakara, who would later become Amida Buddha, abandoned his country, repronounced his kingship, and left behind material wealth. He himself practiced the six paramitas and had other practices upon teaching them. According to this passage, the Bodhisattva Dhammakara gave up the fame and fortune that the kings and practiced the six paramitas. The six paramitas are charity, known as a Sanskrit word, Sanskrit dana. Maybe you know. And the second one is observing precepts. In Sanskrit, sila. And the third one is perfection of patience, shanti. Fourth one is perfection of energy, in Sanskrit, vilya. Fifth one is perfection of meditation, Sanskrit, jhana. And the last one is perfection of wisdom, praja. After doing this for a very long time, a length of the time beyond count, and all the while sharing with others, the ultimate path was achieved. This is a kind of story about the life that can fill our heart with hope and joy, if we allow it to. A king gave up everything to help us. However, even in being exposed to the wonderful story of Amida Buddha, it is still difficult for us to find balance in our lives. Sometimes I like the long summer days when I look at my life with enthusiasm and can't wait for next excitement. Other days I like the cold days of winter when I look at my life and feel there is no hope, that I am unappreciated, and wonder what is point of going on. In the hot and cold days that are my life, it is no wonder what my life is described as that of foolish being of comic evil, called in birth and death, in Shinran Shonin's words. We have been sinking and ever wandering in transmigration from immutable kalpas in the past, with never a condition that would lead to emancipation. This is how we live. Our lives seem to be completely opposite to the world of Pure Land. Here, imagine when you eat too much one day. Maybe you try to save the portion of the meals, or try not to eat too much, or maybe do some exercises the following day to keep a body shape. I often do this sometimes. So we try to compensate for our excessive calories by saving the meals and some exercises. We try to balance it by our actions in our daily lives. We can manage it to some extent by ourselves when it comes to the things related to our daily lives. But in terms of our birth to the Pure Land, we cannot birth in the Pure Land. We cannot handle it by ourselves. Even if we give up everything like Bodhisattva Dhammakara did before becoming Amida Buddha, in order to try hard to accomplish the six paramitas perfectly. It seems to be way beyond our capacity. Again, our way of living is completely against higan, just like swaying between hot day and cold day. We cannot compensate for our own sufferings and delusions with achieving 6 parameters by ourselves only during these higan days. It is way possible for us. That is why Amida Buddha accomplished 6 parameters perfectly instead of us, human beings. Bodhisattva Dharmakara and becoming Amida Buddha did not spend just during Higan season twice a year amassing and collecting virtues, but worked over countless number of kalpas. The ultimate path, a path Amida accomplished, is now here, Nembutsu, that we appreciate. This is the only and great path to take me to the Higan, the world pure end. The path to Higan is the greatest gift from Amida Buddha, to each of us. When you look at the decoration and inner altar of the Hondo, so you can see the statue of Amida Buddha in the center, right? But and you can see the image of founder Shinran Shonin on the right of it, and at right side, and you can find the image of Renyo Shonin on the left side. Renyo Shonin is our eighth religious leader, and Renyo Shonin lived in Japan about 520 years ago. He was close friend. He was a close friends with the Zen monk, Zen Buddhist monk Ikkyu, who was also a poet and one of the creator of the formal Japanese tea ceremony. He is Ikkyu. Can you see him? Okay. He was so smart, and the wit of Ikkyu was legendary. And his childhood story was modified to an anime series in Japan. This is the image of his Ikkyu's childhood. So cute, isn't it? Yeah. This is we called him as Ikkyu-san. So they became good friends, even if Renyo was 21 years older than Ikkyu, because both of them loved reading poems. One day, Ikkyu read the poem just like this. If you say the land of perfect bliss is 100,000 cultists away from here, the elderly who has weak legs has no longer reached there. According to the smaller sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha tells his disciple, elder Shariputra, if you travel westward from here, passing the 100,000 cultists of Buddha lands, you will come to the land called utmost bliss, where there is a Buddha named Amitayus. He is living there now, teaching the Dhamma. The simplest to say, it means the world of Buddha is tremendously long distance apart from this world. So here Ikkyu teased Renyo Shonin through his poem. If you understand the world of Pure Land Bliss is 100,000 cultists away from here, the elderly and the one who has weak legs can no longer reach there. Maybe Ikkyu teased Renyo how he's going to answer to his poem. Ikkyu pointed out if the Pure Land is so far from this world, anyone cannot reach there without enough ability and energy to be able to get there by oneself. Nowadays, thanks to the development of science, the technology, we may be able to detect where the Pure Land is. The diameter of the Earth is said to be 7,917.5 miles. According to the sutra, it is a west and passing the 100,000 kotis. Maybe you can see the number beyond our imagination and the special unit of the distance, kotis, here to describe the distance from the Buddha land to this world. So if you start traveling to the Pure Land from here, you might go around the earth and maybe come back to the original place again and again, maybe. Maybe we cannot reach the Pure Land forever. This shows us how far the Pure Land is. However, Renyo Shonin instantly answered to Ikkyu's poem. Although we hear the world of perfect bliss is 100,000 kotis away from here, here's a shortcut to take me to the world of pure bliss one, with just one reciting of Namu Amida Butsu. Renyo Shoni understood that wherever you are, whatever in any situation you are, there is no condition and there is no judgment to receive Amida Buddha's great virtues, which allow us to cross over the Pure Land. Because Amida Buddha assures every living thing to be born into Buddha and the Pure Land after the end of this life. So Renyo Shonin said Namu Amida Butsu is a shortcut to take us to the Pure Land because it is filled with the virtues, make us attain enlightenment. Shinnon Shonin compared this Amida Buddha's great virtues as a giant ship. Amida's giant ship can accommodate every living thing. It's so big. The captain is Amida Buddha. The destination is to the Pure Land. Amida has already given us a board on its huge vessel, and we are assured to be born to Pure Land, and we are on its way. But this is still only half of Jodo Shinshu. Once going forth to the Higan, the Pure Land, at the same time going back to this world of samsara as Buddha. This is Jodo Shinshu. So our loved one and our important ancestors who received Amida's great virtues are now guiding us as a Buddha to walk to the right path with Amida Buddha. They don't work only during the Ohigan season. It's 24 hours and 7 days while we are living in this world. We're within its nourishment. The path to Higan, the Pure Land, is always open to every living thing, and we are on its way with Buddha's guidance. The equinox only occurs twice a year, on each of 2 Higan week, because the natural balance found in these days. It has allowed us to reflect on our own lives and balance and balance found therein. In this reflection, however, I have been allowed to see how even just one day of my life is filled with the path of truth that has no superior. Regardless of rain or shine, how hot or cold it may be, each and every day of our lives is Nembutsu. That is the virtue from the world of Ohigan. No matter what difficult choices or situations we come to encounter, Amida Buddhas and our ancestors, our family who was born into to the Pure Land as a Buddha are always looking after each of us to be brought across from this world to the Pure Land. It opens up our heart, mind, and bodies to listen intently to the Dhamma wherever and whenever possible. Thank you very much. So I'd like to conclude this Dhamma talk with a Gasho. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mikami Sensei. as we think about Ohigan, as we consider the vow of Amida Buddha that assures all beings of being able to cross to Higan and to also return to this world is so important in our understanding. Certainly, we are concerned about going to the Pure Land, but becoming Buddha and returning is to help all beings in this long process of one helping another, crossing over to the world of enlightenment from this world of samsara. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in this morning's Ohigan service. Next week is a regular Sunday service weekend, so please plan to join us for that. Thank you very much for being here this morning. As we conclude, will you please join Gassho and Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time.
I don't understand the pronunciation of equinox, but I thought I know the pronunciation of equinox, but I suddenly forgot that.